Washington, and we're heading east towards Mount Rainier. It is Sunday, May 23rd. All right, we are in East Lewis County. Stopping on the road to check this lake out.
Wait, you didn't even take one of me. Wait, you want to be in it? Yeah, I didn't even put shoes on.
Riff Lake Overlook. It used to be that you could throw a stick near the headwaters of the Cowlitz River beyond Packwood and it would flow past here to the Columbia River, eventually ending in the Pacific Ocean. Native Americans and pioneers alike not only used the Cowlitz as a transportation route for themselves and their products, but also as a food source from the mighty salmon runs that migrate yearly up the Cowlitz River to spawn. As you look out over Riff Lake, imagine that this was once the site of two pioneering communities, Riff and Cosmos. In 1968, construction of the Mossy Rock Dam flooded the last remnants of these communities along the Cowlitz. The town of Riff was established in 1898 on the Floyd L. Riff homestead, located 5 miles southwest of Morton. In 1904, Charles W. Hopkinson built a sawmill and established a post office, creating the city of Cosmos. Riff and Cosmos reached their heyday in the 1940s when local railroad tie, mills, and logging companies thrived. All right, we are at Mount Rainier National Park. And it is a little rainy today. Very green. All right, so Mount Rainier is 14,000 feet high. This national park is the 5th nation's national park. And it is in the Cascade Mountain Range. So it's kind of cool. We're like kind of just following the Cascade Mountain Range, which is where all the glaciers were. So we saw Crater Lake, and now we're at Mount Rainier, and we are going to make our way eventually to Glacier National Park. So it's kind of like all part of the same history, that this whole Cascade, mountain range is like active volcanoes, and that they were, carved out with glaciers. Pretty cool. All right, we have made it to Paradise Inn. Can I use the restroom? It's pretty nice. Paradise Inn. Opened in 1917. Seems like a place where people come to enjoy the snow. Mount Rainier led the way in developing the rustic style of architecture distinctive to the older national parks. The legacy began at Paradise in 1916 when the Rainier National Park Company undertook the ambitious project of building Paradise Inn in the mile-high Paradise Valley. The inn became immediately popular. Its popularity encouraged the Rainier National Park Company to add an annex to the inn and build a guidehouse. The guidehouse has served as the hub of climbing activity and glacier exploration on Mount Rainier since the early 1920s. That looks nice. They're all dancing.
Campfire cups, adult beverages. Rainier beer.
Oh yeah. They really like using that rustic look, that wood look. Is that a piano? The fire looks so nice. Oh yeah, real wood burning fire.
Big grandfather clock.
That is a big clock. Very big.
All the chairs, they have these giant chairs with wood stacks.
Yeah, show me your rocking chair. Oh yeah. We got a fire. Look at that big old glacier carved river, Avalanche Spot. There's a lot of rocks down there. A big creek going through it. Wearing a white dress. Everything was snowed. All the trails were covered in snow, so the only activity they had was snowshoeing. And it's kind of late in the day to rent snowshoes, so we just hung out at the lodge at Paradise Inn by the fire. All right, we're in Seattle.
We made it.
We just passed by the airport. We're heading to dinner.
At the pink door.
The pink door. Oh, look at the pretty bridges. I like that color. Neon pink. Or it's not a bridge, that's a stadium.
Oh yeah, it's a stadium. Is that where the Seahawks play?
Probably. What a pretty skyline. T-Mobile Park is pink. Hello, Seattle.
Hello, Seattle.
Beautiful meatballs, rigatoni. And we got a huge plate of fries,
Huge one.
Tuscan fries, and I got the Alaskan halibut. We are at the Pink Door in Seattle, right by Pike's Place. You can actually see the Ferris wheel in the windows. And it is poppin', way more busier and livelier than Portland, I'll tell you that. Hi, we're in downtown Seattle, riding our bikes. It's actually pretty nice for bike riding. They have it all sort of paved. Oh, that's my brakes. That's some people having lunch. Looks like Fi-Dye. It's raining and it's cold. Not too cold, but it's just wet and gray. We're heading over to Pioneer Square. Hey, Brandon.
Hey.
On the spheres. It looks like something from Westworld when she goes to the humans world. Oh, interesting. And that's Amazon Go. There's lots of interesting trees and foliage. And they have a lot of scooters too that they rent.
When the early pioneers began to settle. He was very different from some of the other Native American chiefs because he was present at the arrival of George Vancouver's mission in 1792. He was only 6 years old when the Discovery pulled right in here, and he fell in love with the idea of technology and culture. The people from the Vancouver expedition traded many, many things with these people that made them the wealthiest tribes in this neighborhood. Copper, buttons, some things that weren't so helpful to the natives here. Rum, for example, molasses. But it made them very wealthy and powerful, so he liked the idea of the occupation. And let me just say that he put in is called the keystone. When they put in the keystone, it mathematically spreads the weight out in some magical way so that the stones can support more than their own weight. And there are many arches in Europe that I've seen in Budapest that have, these keystone arches. And these things have gone through a 7.1 earthquake in 1971, in 1948 a 4 So we've had really big seismic activity here, and these things have ridden it out. To put into their skylights, and as I said, the city government doesn't want to pay for it. So if you're a better building and you've got a little money and you're making a little more rent, you try to keep these things together because they're kind of beautiful, right? They're amazingly good at lighting the passageways because these are prismatic, round ones. So it's like a 6-inch cylinder, and it takes the light and refracts it around a really large area. So they take a small hole and light it large. Right there, okay, before that place burned down. And you'll see here a skylight, right? If you like, excuse me. If you like to drink alcoholic adult beverages, you might want to go down there and have one. Although they say it's haunted. It's supposed to be the haunted bar. I've been drinking in there for 30. I'm down there. I have never seen a ghost down there, and I've been doing this since 1871. Follow me around this way.
And then you took a lot of dirt and moved it.
How cool is this stove?
So they had cable cars, it looks like.
Streetcars,
Oh, streetcars, right. Really busy. Look at those packed sidewalks. Oh, there's Bruce Lee. Oh, I forgot to ask him about Bruce Lee. I thought he might know some things. That's all right. Next time we come, we'll go to the museum. Very cool. I take one everywhere. I take my penis. Condoms. You can say condom in English. You know how to say condom in French, Italian, and Spanish. Never use it with Vaseline Crisco Cool Whip. Cool Whip? Sandpaper, what? Wow. Suntan lotion. We are protect against. Avoid the cavity creeps. Man, this is hilarious. Propaganda. All right, we are at Cherry Street Coffee company, Coffee Roasters, here in Seattle, right after we just did our underground tour. We are on Cherry Street, the heart of where they rebuilt the city after the fire. How you doing, Brandon? How'd you like the tour?
Very interesting.
What was your biggest takeaway from the tour?
The totem pole that they stole from Alaska was pretty interesting.
Yeah, they stole a fucking totem
They
pole,
burned it down and they asked them for another one.
and then they built it and charged them hella money.
Yes.
Just the typical American way, right? To just steal from other cultures.
They weren't using it.
Sure.
They don't need those things.
We're still in Pioneer Square area, and we just found a happy hour spot for oysters. Taylor's Shellfish Oyster Bar. Time for some delicious oysters in Seattle.
Same thing for you guys.
Pacifics.
Pacific oysters. Yum. A little pickled veg. A little bottle of cava. We're in Pioneer Square,
Yep.
which apparently a lot of restaurants around here have closed for good. We're close to the ballpark. This place has happy hour. We're happy to be here. There's a few tables.
The owner's really nice.
The owner is really, that's the owner on the left. He's really nice. Check it out. Taylor Shellfish. They're playing Bob, and I'm wearing his shirt. Cheers to Bob. Go for it, Brandon. Is this love that I'm feeling? Some mignonette in there. Oh yeah. Beautiful Seattle oysters. So some history that I'm learning about is that basically Oregon, Washington, Idaho, right? A little bit of Montana
Yeah.
was all considered Oregon territory, while California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, right? Part of Colorado was Spanish controlled. And then the Louisiana Purchase was the continental divide of the Colorado Rockies that was purchased from France. The U.S. bought that from France in 1803. So 1776, Declaration is signed. On the other side of the country, the Spanish is controlling and owning that territory, and then Lewis and Clark come up into Oregon to find a passage to the sea, and they get to Portland.
How are they?
Oh, amazing. So good. And in this whole territory was Native American territory. So this was like the last frontier for the colonizers, for the European settlers. And that is why these states are so predominantly white, because they were basically stolen. All of this land, was stolen through violence and lying, signing treaties that they never honored. And it's just so, I just want to honor the people of this land and the history of this place, of being here in Washington State. Hey! heading to the museum. So apparently Carrie Brownstein from Portlandia was a guitarist. Look at that. 1998. I love that show, Prolandia. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Angus Young.
See, like we recorded everything, and then all of a sudden something happens, and it just comes out all screwed up. You just get so mad, you just don't want to know about it anymore. Like art mix up, every track's gonna have to be right, or else it's, you know, just gonna forget about it. I mean, well, not forget
The
about it.
Fillmore and
That's the way I-
SF.
you know, say that, you know, you're not. But that's the way I feel.
Do you think they're better than the Strikes as far as recording?
It
really depends on the
Well, like elephants and which channel and elephants where you go to. It really depends on so many things. Like how you the cutting of depends on the whole, that's a whole song.
That's how you put together a song.
Mix and mix. You get such a beautiful sound.
For those of you keeping really close track, you might notice that those sections are not 27 seconds apart, they're 21 seconds apart.
The song itself moves in musical sections that are 21 seconds. Each verse of the song is 21 seconds. Each round of the chorus is 21 seconds.
The way we made the 21 seconds of song match the 27 seconds of Zero Gravity was we slowed the playback of the song down about 28.5%.
The idea of actually making a living playing music involved the eventual move to Los Angeles or New York to try and really establish themselves. The vision that I was carrying and other close friends of mine were carrying, that if you actually stayed where you lived and cultivated over a period of time, that you could do the same thing.
San Francisco or Athens, Georgia.
Military practices, and they all have a meaning. Like, some mean that you crossed the seas, some mean that you lost friends, some means that you went around Cape Horn. Very easy.
We just did the Museum of Pop Culture. Super fun. And we're right next to the Space Needle. Cool. Definitely a super fun spot to check out. Oh look, there's like a monorail. And there's the Space Needle. Monorail. Museum of Pop Culture. And the slide. Okay, think I'm good to go? Here we go! Woo! Woo! Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Seattle. So we are at Harbor City Restaurant. We just got our Peking duck, string beans, honey walnut shrimp. It's so funny, everything is so big except that order. Beach how fun. We're trying to find an old speakeasy here. Do you think it's here? It says Bathtub Gin. Located in the alley behind the building. Ooh. Cheers. We made it to Bathtub Gin. Quick video. Just showing it off. Old speakeasy in here.
I promise to be perfectly honest, it really comes down to this. I was excited about this.
And there's a bathtub with a clawfoot bathtub. It looks like this was old wall here. How's your drink?
It's very good.
Because the problem is, if you approach the harder ones without understanding the mechanics, those harder ones are going to be a lot more. They're going to be a lot scarier. So now to the scary part. Now watch this real quick. Let's say you're strong enough and confident enough to get up into this headstand, okay? However you want to get there. A lot of us are right about even just here. Okay? Why do we do this? We do this because we feel safe here. We're actually feeling like, okay, I'm balancing, but I'm not in that straight up and down. I'm not in that light place. And why does that matter? So the light place is going to be right about there, Jeff? Sorry. Yes. Yeah. So the light place is going to be right about there. But this feels very light. It feels like, oh, I can go all the way back. However, that's where that light place is exactly where you need to find in these more accessible versions like headstand. Because if you don't find that light place and figure out how to feel okay in that light place, then when you kick up to handstand, you're always going to be here. Okay? Your chest forward, your hips never coming over, and you never getting into that, oof, and I can't today, ugh, light place. Here. Okay? Because along beta, I won't. Fear comes into play, right? And also muscle memory. If you're doing your headstand or your pincha in a pike position, there's two things. You feel safe there.
Here at the grave sites of Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee, who died at very young ages. 33. Bruce Lee was my age. Brandon was only 31. We honor you, Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. Thank you for being a role model for so many Asian Americans in the U.S. and for bringing the art of martial arts, the lineage of light, the yin and the yang, to find peace and to find personal power, to fight for good and protect the innocent. Thank you. We are heading out of Seattle. This is the cemetery with a beautiful view of the water. Thank you, Seattle. This was a great time.